Bodybug is a 2D rogue-lite action game where you play as tiny insects living in what's essentially a human city, but from their perspective, which honestly makes it pretty charming. It's got this handmade feel to the visuals, and the idea of bugs scraping it out with human trash is simply entertaining. Plus, there's optional co-op, which is always nice. Thank you to Flawless Gaming for sponsoring this video. So, the basic idea is you're running through levels fighting other insects, mostly roaches and stuff, while picking up different weapons and gadgets. The combat is pretty straightforward. You've got your main weapon attack, a dash to avoid damage, and a collision attack where you basically ram into enemies. You can double jump too, which helps with the platforming bits. The weapons include things like a pile driver for melee combat that gets stronger if you charge it up, and ranged options like this electromagnetic gun that shoots projectiles. The game has a pretty interesting gadget system. These are separate from your weapons, and there are things like a tennis racket that acts as a barrier to block enemy shots, or a billiard ball you can launch around the arena to bounce into enemies, or even springs that launch you up in the air. You can carry 2 gadgets at a time and swap them out as you find new ones. Plus, there's a backpack if you want to store extras for later. Your weapons and gadgets can have different elements like fire, water, electricity, and grease. When you mix elements together, you get reactions that do extra damage or special effects. The game really pushes you to experiment with combining your weapon element with your gadget element to see what happens. There's an energy system too, where attacking enemies and using gadgets fills up a meter, and when it's full you can trigger your weapon's ultimate ability. As you play, you're collecting these knowledge books that give you passive abilities. Some of them boost specific gadget types, others affect your collision attacks or give you extra dashes. You're basically building a character over the course of a run by picking which abilities you want. There's also currency you collect to upgrade your gadgets at certain points, making them stronger or changing their element type. So even if you find the same gadget again in a new run, you can customize it differently. The art style is pretty clean as well as the animations, and the whole bug theme keeps it feeling fresh even though the roguelite formula itself is familiar, of course. You fight through rooms, pick abilities and upgrades between sections, eventually hit a boss, die and start over with new knowledge of how things work. The developers are planning to add more characters, weapons, gadgets and areas based on player feedback. And this sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.